Hello out there, we're on the air, it's hockey night tonight.
Hey guys, we got a special guest today on the program, Jack Mullet, hockey show on YouTube. Jack, what's going on, man?
Enjoying my evening, man. How you doing?
Good, man. We're doing good. We're glad to have you on, man. We're big-time hockey fans, all of us.
Awesome. Well, you're friends of mine then.
Yeah. Who do you like in hockey?
LA Kings. I've been a Kings fan since I was about 5 years old, so it's about almost 30 years now. Holy shit.
Wow. So you go back to before the Gretzky time.
No, yeah, when I was a kid, he got traded there when I was about 5.
Yeah.
And he was the most popular player. And, when you're a kid, you're impressionable. And I like the colors and the whole going to the Raiders colors. And they looked like just badasses. So
definitely did have the best like color scheme. And you're right. You're exactly right. The whole Raiders connection. And
yeah,
they were cool looking. I mean, they still are a cool looking team, Yeah. It's cool colors. They are a cool team, the Kings. I always like them from afar.
Yeah.
You don't live in LA, but you like the Kings, right?
No. Yeah, exactly. I grew up in Virginia, of all places. I don't know how I got into hockey, but I just, like I said, when he got traded there, I just stuck with them all those years. There were some really shitty years too, because they were terrible for the longest time. But no, man, just stuck with them, and now they're halfway decent.
Great players on that team back then. Marty McSorley.
Yes.
Yeah, man, that team was stacked at one point. I think you guys had Paul Coffey too at one point.
Yeah, briefly. They had some good teams. They just could never get over that hump.
Kelly Rudy.
Yeah.
Kelly Rudy.
Former Islander.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a throwback name right there.
We should have played the fucking Kings that year in the finals. We fucking lost to the Canadians.
I know.
I know.
We got beat down by the Canadians that year, man.
That Montreal team was like the worst team to ever win the cup, too. They had nobody.
That was their last team.
Yeah.
Didn't they win every overtime game in the playoffs, too, that fucking year or some shit?
Yeah, they went like 11-0 or something in OT. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that was a run. That was a run for them. Their last run, believe it or not.
Yeah. They had Patrick Waugh, and that was it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, because there pretty much wasn't too many memorable guys on that squad.
No.
Well, the only other guy I remember is because he's a scumbag was Kirk Muller.
Yeah, Kirk Muller. I think was Leclerc on that team too.
You know what?
Yeah, but he wasn't good then.
He was like he's just coming up at that point, right?
Yeah, he wasn't good till he went to Philly.
Yeah, the Legion of Doom line. I remember that.
Yeah,
it's a big time line. Yeah, so we're all basically Islander fans here.
Awesome.
we and you know what? Believe it or not, our connection is intertwined. If you're a Kings fan for that long, the Islanders made a memorable deal with the Kings back in the day that like completed like our roster to go on to win 4 straight Stanley Cups, and the guy still has to do with our franchise still to this day. Butch Goring.
Yeah, Butch Goring. Yeah, I know that name.
He's a beloved Islander, and he was a King for a long time,
Yeah, he had that weird helmet and everything.
Yeah, he did. He had like the kind of Gretzky helmet a little bit.
Yeah.
Before it was cool to wear that helmet.
Yeah, I like that. I went out. I was lucky enough to get out to Nassau once in my life before they shut it down, and I always enjoyed going to Islanders games, kind of cheering for them.
And it has that hometown like feel to it when it's like the old barn. But yeah, those days are over now. We got to travel to friggin' Brooklyn.
Yeah, the first time I walked into Nassau, I was like walking back into 1972 or something because it was nice. I mean, it was nice to Sometimes those old ballparks, old arenas, they're fun to go to.
They are. They definitely are. After a while, all those will be gone. It sucks, but
yeah. Well, you gotta have free Wi-Fi and other bullshit in rinks now.
Yeah. crazy now. I know they get fucking crazy with what they got now. You get sushi at a friggin' hockey game.
It's like at fucking the new Yankee Stadium, they're gonna have fucking breastfeeding areas now. It's like, dude, how's this? How about you don't go to the fucking game if you have to squeeze your tit into your kid's mouth? You know?
Spend $120 on a ticket just so you can go breastfeed in a bathroom somewhere.
It really is. But also we share something in common. I never knew this before. That we both basically we used to work for a piece of shit.
Yeah, I didn't work for anybody. Are you talking to?
I mean, we used to both collaborate with a piece of shit, I guess you can call it.
Yeah. Those were some some interesting times.
I made the video along with you, the YouTube backstabbers video. I made the cut that one.
Yes, we're legends now.
we had a whole hour and a half made for us, a whole hour and a half of content for us.
That we must have really pissed him off to get an hour and a half live stream.
Seriously, man. Like I said before we started the podcast, I never really bothered to listen to the show. I heard about it from people, and it was mixed shit because a lot of people didn't know who the hell he was talking about when he was talking about them. So it was like kind of me and you got like morphed into like one person at one point.
Yeah, we got bounced around like freaking.
He was like, people were calling me and going like, "Did you do that? Did you do this?" And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I don't even understand what you're talking about. No, I didn't do that. You know, like I kind of was given an ultimatum. You know, that's what happened with me. You know, I was given an ultimatum. I worked with him. I was giving him content and all that. And these guys pretty much touched on it on the show that they did. And I really didn't want to touch it. I didn't want to talk about it. I wanted to go on doing our own thing, making our own content. But of course, he had to make the whole YouTube backstabbers video, and you know, the rest is history.
Yeah. So what was your offense? Like, what exactly did you do to him to piss him off? Well,
the guys sum it up, and pretty much we did a show where we were talking about Tommy NC 2010 and just how terrible his content was at that point.
Yeah.
We were fans. We were honestly like talking about it as fans first.
Uh-huh.
Now, we may have said things that were funny, but, you know, come on, we're doing a comedy show. So it's like we got to, you know, we're not trying to hurt people, but we got to, like, touch on some funny shit, you know. And there was some stuff that it got a little serious, but it was because he was saying some serious stuff. So it was like we touched on it. Long story short, Tommy C basically was like, you know, here's your ultimatum. Take it down, or blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I was like, well, listen, first of all, even if I had the decision to make on my own, I wasn't taking it down. And second of all, I got to go talk to 3 other people before I could just go take a video down off the, you know what I mean? So it was like, I knew that was the end of the line for me right there. And
Tommy C's trying to censor you of all people. Tommy C censoring you?
He's supposed to be the social justice warrior, you know, and there he is.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find a lot of contradictions with him. A lot. You know,
yeah.
I think he's a walking, breathing contradiction. The guy, honestly, you know, he says in one breath he's doing it for, you know, to be the social justice warrior, that people have a right, their First Amendment, and this and that, because he was swinging that one about a month ago. Now it's, I only do it for the money and the subs. I really do only do it for the money and the subs. So it's like, which one are you doing it for?
Yeah.
You know, so.
And he says he's a libertarian. Yeah, real libertarian you are.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. That's at least you did something. All I did was unfriend him on Facebook. That's literally all I did.
I took that as a direct, like, fucking just,
yeah.
It was a missile.
But calling up somebody and yelling at them like they're your father isn't disrespectful, though. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah. But I explained to him, like, I sent him a direct message recently. It was this lengthy message just explaining exactly why I unfriended him, and he didn't believe me, and I don't think he really cared. So he just kind of took off and ignored me.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of weird. I think, like, he says one thing, but he's really doing things for a whole other reason. And honestly, I was working hands-on with him for the longest time, and I could not get him to even mention the guys I was working with, the network I was working on the side. I would go and be like, can you please get me a plug Like, wouldn't even, honestly, I couldn't even ask him that because I couldn't even get the time from him after he met Keemstar to even ask him, could you plug my network next week if it's cool with you? Like, first of all, working on the show, you shouldn't even have to really ask that. It should just be like, give me a plug a week if I'm on the show. That should go hand in hand. But I had to go to certain people inside his own crew to ask him for me because he wouldn't even take my phone call. It was really weird at the end. So I knew something wasn't right. And once the Tommy C thing came out for us, I think he took it as the opportunity to be like, oh, awesome, I'm going to use this and give him an ultimatum that I know he's not going to do. And I don't have to deal with him no more. So that's how my ending was. It was kind of like there was a lot more to it than what he was saying.
Yeah. Well, they're always
than what he was saying about you as well, to be honest. Because why would you go nuts over somebody just defriending you off of Facebook?
Yeah, it was a lot of bullshit. But he, again, this is the guy who calls. He's made his living off of calling other people out on their bullshit and their hypocrisy. Yeah. And he does the same exact thing.
Exactly.
The same exact thing.
The guy's a hypocrite.
He really is a fucking hypocrite, man. He really is. Like, I know he's got like a lot of these like, 10, 11, and 12-year-old boys fucking that are listening right now, because if you listen to who calls into his show, it's like,
just that fucking ego, man.
It's a question.
Like roll out the red carpet.
He's like, oh, I put my pants on the same way any human does. Like, dude, do you really think like you're fucking Maury Povich right now or something? Like, really? Like, he thinks he's like fucking thinks he's a public figure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's got the integrity of an old, soggy, bloody maxi pad.
I actually got a soundbite, Jack.
He took this directly to the public. Very directly to the public. Started calling me a coward. Inferred that I was, maybe too big for him now. That I was doing all this stuff, which I haven't really had that behavior with anybody else.
Okay, so this is where people got confused. They started saying, Ken, did you do that? And I was like, no, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. So he actually meant you there, right?
Yeah, so what happened was the day they were doing their fantasy hockey show, Dead on Dave sent out a tweet that said, we need one more person. And I replied to, and he had Tommy in there. It was Dave, and Tommy's names both in the tweet. So I replied to both of them. I said, did I get an invite? No response at all. After their show, I left a comment on the YouTube channel on his video. I said, did I get an invite? And before I just simple question. Did I get an invite? And I just kept getting ignored. And so I finally said, fuck it. You know what? Sure. I'll tweet out to my what do I have? 260 followers. Half of them are like sex robots or something that don't even exist. You know what I mean? Like taking it to the public. No one saw. What are you talking about? No one saw it.
Right, man. Takes to the public. He came out in a very public way. Yeah.
And then he turns around and does an hour-and-a-half live stream. Who the fuck are you talking about?
He does an hour-and-a-half fucking live stream on two people and blends them all together. Doesn't even really fucking get specific. And then he turns around and says something like that. Meanwhile, you're like, yeah, I really took it to the public. Fucking
called up the New York Times or something. Good grief.
Insane.
Well, you know what? That's what he does. He gets on his show. He fucking paints the picture the angle that he wants to go at. He fucking throws it out there, and then he drills it home. You know what I mean? He keeps drilling it home and drilling it home and drilling it home.
Yeah.
He put himself in the middle of this Nick Cash shit. Even Keemstar's like, what is this fucking, what is this argument over? And nobody could really answer, what is this argument over? And even Keemstar's like, so obviously this argument's about fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Tommy interjecting himself into something to make a show out of it for an hour and a half. You know what I mean? That's his MO. It's only going to go so far.
Do you think Keemstar is questioning his decision to bring him on the team? I think he may be.
I would if I was him.
I think so.
Keemstar, it's easy to get rid of him, though, if you really wanted to.
Right. Yeah, and I think that eventually will happen.
Yeah.
To be honest, Tommy is just consistently showing that he's this fucking just like just weirdo that really has no talent at all. Is like talentless. Like, listen, if he's talking about hockey, yes, he knows what he's talking about. I love listening to him about hockey. He knew what he was talking about to a certain extent, and it was fun. He had a hockey show. It was good. Now that you're entering the whole just drama area of YouTube, like, you don't know what you're doing, honestly, because all he's doing is telling people to go fuck their mothers when he's fighting with them constantly. All he's doing is fucking just putting himself in the middle of other people's beef, like fucking Nick Cash and Leafy. Like, that's all he's doing is just throwing himself in there. And really, it's only going to get you so far. And when like 3 or 4 years, when that 9-year-old is fucking 14 and he's like, this shit is so lame. It's like, how far are you really going to go? You're going to wait for fucking 9-year-olds? You're going to wait for the next match to come up and then make the next set of fans? Like, because it's a one-trick pony. He's a one-trick pony. He's going to last only
he burns bridges everywhere he goes.
And there's a lot of people I cannot believe the amount of people that has either contacted me or I found out through like third-person type shit of that he fucked them over.
Yeah. And it's sad too, because I worked with him for about a year, and the coolest part about going on his show was the other people. Like I love Real Talk. I just think he's one of the coolest guys.
Yeah,
I like Frenchie Ben. Like, I just love talking to those guys. And now none of them. Well, I shouldn't say none of them. I still talk to some of them, but for the most part, you're kind of an afterthought now.
Yeah, I got to tell you, man, it hurt me because some of these guys, I thought that, wow, it was a little bit more than YouTube. I said, oh, I'm making friends. I'm making friends. I'm making lifetime friends. And I really thought that. I thought that of Frenchie Ben. I thought that of Dead on Dave, because, Dead on Dave, this guy used to dump his problems on me every single night of my life. That's how close we got to where I was like Dead on Dave's shrink for a while. And I don't mind doing that, because if I'm friends with somebody, I like to be there for them, no matter what, But it was like, you can reciprocate every once in a while. Like, if I got a problem and I go to tell you something, you can't be like, hey, listen, I got to go. I'm doing a show. Or I'm planning something to do. I can't listen to this. Like, you got to meet me halfway. If you're a friend, you got to fulfill your end of the bargain. But he didn't do that, Dave. He was but the weird thing was, even though that didn't happen, I still was cool with him. But as soon as this shit happened with me and Tommy, it was like he told his team, nobody speak to him. Meanwhile, the day before, I'm getting calls and text messages saying, yo, love the podcast. I know you talked about Tommy NC, but you guys did it in such a funny way. It was all comedy. We loved it. It was great. It was funny. And then these same guys that are saying all this the next day are all not calling me no more, all not talking to me no more, all not friends with me on social media. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, same exact thing happened to me, because I even talked to Dave privately, and he said that he asked Tommy, like, he saw the tweet, me asking if I got an invite to their fantasy hockey thing, and he asked Tommy, and Tommy said, nope, don't want him. Didn't give an explanation. And then after that, both of them ignored me. And for the record, like, I still, to this day, I don't have a problem with anyone out there except Tommy C. And I didn't ever had a problem with him. I just unfriended him because he was going to the police department over this David is Gaming thing. And he was like, I was like, I'm on his show. I'm on his show all the time. I don't want to get roped into anything. So I'm just trying to give myself a little bit of separation here till this thing blows over. And then, but he took it as me saying fuck off. And that totally wasn't even the case.
Yeah, and I think also he don't want anybody else as good as him in his mind doing the same thing he's doing. Like, he wants to put people around him that he's a step better than, that in his mind.
Oh yeah, well yeah, and not to talk shit, but I think that's why you have people like Jeff Huffman who just sit there for 40 minutes and say nothing.
Exactly. I know the trick. It's kind of like when you're the real ugly fucking person and you surround yourself with uglier people, you look a little bit better. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what he's doing. And I think a guy like you, a guy like me, a guy like these guys that I work with, a guy like Billy Ricky, who I know who's on YouTube, these kind of guys who are talented people, they can only last so long with Tommy C, because after a while he says to himself, fuck, I feel threatened by this person. I feel like if I keep doing a show with them, people are going to be like, well, what about them? I want to hear about them more. When really it's about the whole team. It's about the whole, you know what I mean?
Totally.
I mean, I understand it's his network, okay? But don't lie to people when you're putting them on your show. Don't bullshit people. Don't tell them what you think they want to hear. Be honest. Yo, I'm only going to use you this much. Yo, I only want you to speak this much. Like, you know, I used to go on the show and he used to tell me, yo, don't change any of the topics. Just try to keep it to a minimum. Don't really speak unless spoken to. That's what we're doing for this episode. It's just speaking to spoken to. I want you to be a total fucking mute like Jeff for this episode. And I used to be like, wow, like, that's what you got me on here for. I'm writing jokes all night before, so I can fucking sit here and say 3 words an episode.
Yeah.
Censorship.
What's the point? What is the point?
Right.
But dumb, it was like, oh, you're here for my amusement. You're here for my filibuster. Just shut the fuck up until I need you. You know?
but that was the main reason I started working with him to begin with, because like you said, like the team, he talked about, you know, how boring hockey media is nowadays with all the Puck Daddy and Bleacher Report. Some of it's just not fun anymore. And he was talking about, like, you know, let's build this up together and we'll both have our own thing. And I thought, you know, I hopped on board because it sounded like a great idea. And people can change, though.
A part of me says, you know what? I really did feel good for this guy when he first made it with Keem, even though he fucked me over and ripped me off of Skype and said, oh, I don't know how you got bounced. I'm like, dude, listen, I know it's your network. I get it. It's not a big deal, but don't lie to me. Just don't lie to me. Like, I get it. It's your network. It was your turn to go one-on-one. You didn't want somebody in the background screaming anything. You just wanted to go one-on-one with the guy. I get it. So you booted us. It's all good. But don't sit there and bullshit me about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that pisses me off. But, you know, and what I was saying, back to what I was saying was, I want the guy to do good. I want him to, you know, because he just had a kid. You know, he's been doing this for fucking 5 years now. You know, he was at one point, you know, Joe Cronin's henchman and would go out and just go after whoever was talking shit about Cronin. And, you know, so he's been through the whole reins of being a soldier, so to say. And this is his words, a soldier on YouTube who just goes out and does what he's asked. You know, sometimes that's what I need, Kenny, sometimes. I need that soldier who just goes out and takes people out, bro. Like, I'm like, yeah.
It's fucking YouTube, man.
Right?
I was going, I was like, and then once I understood how deep this really went, I was like, oh my God, what the fuck did I get myself involved with here to be on a show? Like, I want to come on here and do comedy. I want to write jokes. I want to laugh. And then all of a sudden it's, you know, when I might need someone to take someone out, you know? I'm like, the YouTube hitmen, bro. That's the way you got to look at it. I'm like, what?
I'm telling you, that's exactly why I unfriended him, because he was going after this David is Gaming thing, and David is Gaming was tweeting out pictures of people like Pure, who, I don't know if you know Finnish Newsflash. He's a longtime follower of myself and Tommy C, and he was tweeting out pictures of Pure saying, you know, that he was a pedophile and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I can't have stuff like that happen to me. So I need to just kind of take a step back away from you. Let this thing blow over.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And that's a smart thing to do. And I got to tell you, when I left the whole crew, or I was like let go of with the whole crew, I didn't really listen to anything because I was just concentrating on our own shit. But I would go back every once in a while and just, hey, let me go check on these guys and see what's going on. And I remember going on one show and hearing them talk about grade A, under A. And I remember hearing Tommy go, fucking saying something about pedophile. And I'm like, now, I don't know if he definitely said that he was a pedophile or a pedophile or a pedophile or whatever the fuck they call him file today. I don't know if he was really like saying he was calling grade A that, but it sounded like he was saying grade A was a pedophile. And I'm just like, that's what this fucking show came to. That's where we're at on Shot from the Point. That's where we're at on Shot from the Point hockey. We're at.
It's at.
Yeah, who's a pedophile and who's not? Like, fucking for real?
Yeah.
Really?
I just gotta laugh it off now, man. And like, if I ever had the chance, because I'm not home when he goes on for his hockey shows during the week, but one of these days when I am, I'll tune into his show and join in the chat, see what happens. Because you just gotta laugh it off at this point. I updated my Twitter profile when all this happened. It says backstabber who unfriended someone once on Facebook. Like, I just try and troll him now because it's just, the whole thing's comical to me. You're 40 years old and you do an hour and a half live stream because someone you used to be friends with unfriended you. Like, just instead of talking to him.
Not only that, like, how can you brag about being an Iraq veteran and then be upset that somebody unfriended you on Facebook?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, that's like Nick Cash said. He's a man child.
That card gets played quite a bit.
That card does get played quite a bit. And, he plays it on people, and these people are like, hello, I'm a fucking veteran. And I'm like, the other day he, like, did it to somebody who else was, like, calling in, and he's, like, pulling this veteran card, and the guy's like, I'm a fucking veteran. I fought in the Iraqi war, asshole. Like, I'm just like, dude, it doesn't work on everybody, Tommy,
Yeah,
like,
no kid.
Like, gee, he pulls that one out quite a bit, man. Quite a bit. Yeah.
And I got, not to reveal too much information about myself, but I do have 13 years in the military myself. So I again, when I hear that, I'm like, okay, enough.
Yeah, like, come on, please. I got
usually people don't use that as a weapon if they're like a veteran. You know what I mean? They just like keep that themselves.
No, uses as a weapon. And my father's a Vietnam veteran. He don't fucking talk about shit. People who really did things in their lives in a certain branch of wherever, they don't talk about it, man. They don't mention it. They don't bring it up every time somebody goes to say, bang your mother. Me and him never interacted over the phone. We never called each other. He never gave me that opportunity to even speak with him on the phone. It was very weird. For a year almost, we communicated on the Facebook Messenger app, where you would leave a voice message or you would leave a text message on there. And basically we had everybody from the team on this one message board. So if anybody thought of anything or said anything, it was all on this one board. That's how we interacted with each other. So the way that he interacted with me was on a private thing, and he would leave me voice messages. Hey, Kenny, we're going on live tonight at this time, or hey, blah, 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 or hey, just want to make this announcement, or anything like that. And I actually was bullshitting him with him one day about the Iraqi war and all that stuff. And believe it or not, he leaves me a message basically saying, I was like kind of kissing his ass saying, thank you for your service and shit. And matter of fact, I think it was Veterans Day last year or some shit. And he was like, listen, this is between me and you. And I'm going to fucking reveal this now, but I'm not revealing no DMs or any private messages, but I'll tell you what he said to me. He's like, just between me and you, I never saw the front lines, and I was always like, far, far away from anything that was going on because I'm a tech guy, and I was setting up like satellite systems and, links to satellites and CBs and so I never really saw any like combat at all, but it's good to have it under my belt so I could use that whenever I want to.
Holy shit.
And I was like, wow.
My goodness.
Basically what he says to me in a whole conversation, and I'm just like, wow, you really are a limey shitbag, really are.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man. But you know what? I think, truth be told, I think everything's better off now the way it is.
When I first got taken like off of there or whatever, I basically was fired from them. I felt good afterwards, man. I really did, because I didn't have to listen to all of Dead on Dave's fucking bullshit no more. I didn't have to fucking suicidal shit. I don't want to hear that suicidal the fucking bed and a fucking couch shit. You know what I mean? I got my own fucking problem. I tried to be as that shit was just too much.
Oh my goodness.
So I kind of felt relieved, man, but when I heard the whole YouTube backstabber shit, it got to me. I didn't want to really touch it. And then when I said, they broke like kind of an unwritten, handshake that we had, like kind of like, right. Don't say shit, I won't say shit, just leave it alone. Somebody kind of bartered that in the middle when this all went down. Like, hey, listen, he said this. He's afraid of you blackmailing him. I'm like, what the fuck? All right. Let's just shake hands and say we won't talk about each other, okay?
Yeah, it's all my fault because I went public on Twitter, I guess.
Yeah. So,
asshole.
We're on fucking Leno, man. You had to go on Leno and go public with this, man. It was crazy.
All 200 Twitter followers saw something. And half of them don't even know who he is.
I know. Yeah, exactly. It's fucking, he thinks, well, in his world, in his mind, he's a public figure.
And he's trying to be the big gatekeeper of YouTube now. You have to ask his permission or what you can and cannot say. It's like ridiculous.
Fuck out of here, man. Hey, listen, he's just a Jersey boy to me. It's not much more.
Don't keep riding Keem's coattails.
Smokestacks. He's from the land of smokestacks and human waste.
Yeah, I guess so. I've been to New Jersey once. I wasn't impressed.
Yeah. I hope you left fast. I hope you left as soon as you got there.
Well, yeah. I was over in Hoboken, and I just was trying to find the train to get over to New York. That's all.
Yeah. Most people just pass through there. Yeah, exactly. It's a fucking shitwad. No, I'm just kidding. I got some family members in Jersey. Yeah, so fucking. But it was cool to finally speak with you, man, because it was like kind of me and you were kind of on the show, working on the same show, but we were on at different times. We were handling different areas, like because he only had me on for when he was doing his whole YouTube genre. Even though I thought I was getting involved because we were going to talk hockey and comedy. Everything got changed for me, and it was like he never really even explained to me, this is what I want you for. I want you for this. I thought I was doing a fucking hockey show. First day I did this show, I'm like, when are we going to start talking about hockey? This is a hockey show, and I'm like, what?
You guys are like Eskimo brothers. You were both involved with the same pussy.
Holy good.
I told him, I was like, the whole drama shit, that's not for me. He said, hour and a half talking about what cartoon characters said on YouTube. Like, I don't care. It's not me. Like, I like talking about hockey, having a good time, and trying to make a few people laugh.
Lame, man. It's so fucking lame. I'm like, how do you have, like, some shows will have like 30 people in there to be watching them. Then the next week I'll have like 900 people watching them because he connected it to fucking Keemstar and something fucking colossal, Then the next day he'll be talking about fucking Kirk Muller, and he's got 20 people in there watching him. Like, he's very, like,
Which is exactly what I get when I do my live stream. So that's and you know what? I did everything myself. I didn't have anyone hold my hand the whole way. Right. I didn't have to go to bat and be soldiers for anyone or any bullshit like that. Like, it's just
I
me.
like to you when you do the hockey because you deliver it so much better than he does. It's just fun to listen to the style that you come from because it's refreshing. You know what I mean? Like when he was doing it, like he was doing hockey, he kind of like didn't give a fuck about hockey anymore at the end there. So it was like, It wasn't enjoyable to watch him talk about something he didn't give a fuck about anymore.
Well, he was more into the like the political side of hockey. Like if someone wrote an article that he disagreed with, he'd do an hour-long live stream, bashing Greg Wyshynski about Puck Daddy.
I know, it was just over the line. It was just over the top. Like you really make a show about that when we could talk about this, and this, and make it funny and fucking have a great time doing it.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of weird.
He's a fucking yenta. That's what he is. He's just a fucking yenta.
I said that like about a month ago. No one knew what I was talking about.
Real Housewives of Jersey. Tommy C gets all bent out of control. Next time on Jersey Housewives.
Well, this is why I call him Tommy C-section, because he's a fucking female.
And you know what I call him? What I like to do is I like to take a knot. Right? The word "not," and I like to put that right in the middle of the name Tommy C. That's what I like to call him on his little perch over there in Germany. You know what I mean? He's like
just total hypocrite, man. Like I said, I unfriended him. Like one of the first times Keemstar talked to him, he flat out called Tommy C a cunt. He called him a cunt. Like, and he's going to work with him. I unfriend him, and I'm a backstabber. I don't get it.
Oh,
it's very simple. You don't have millions of subscribers, and he does. I mean,
Yeah, what's funny is Keemstar said a lot of shit about Tommy NC 2010 as well, and it was all shit that we agreed with over here that a real fan would say about him, and we understood where Keemstar was coming from, and then we kind of reiterated the same shit on our show, which was like a day later after we heard Keemstar questioning this about Tommy NC 2010, and then we gave a look into his content a little bit more, and we were like, holy shit, like what's he been doing this last month? Like it's so negative and it's so like me, and he's making fun of like this homeless dude, and he's the Sunshine, Salametti, and all these fucking. And I'm like, okay, what did we do so bad? Well, it's the way you said it.
Oh my goodness.
It's not what you said, it's the way you said it. I said, how do we say it any different than this? And I'll play a clip from Keemstar, and it'll sound the same exact way, but no, just, that was tongue-in-cheek. What you did wasn't. No. What he did had 1,600,000 subs behind it. Right. What I did, fucking under 200 subs behind it. That's the truth. That's what we're really talking about. And we're really talking about people who work with him, and he finds out that they really do have talent. Well, he's got to eventually come up with some kind of fucking thing to not talk to them anymore or to blow them up on an hour and a half fucking live stream calling them backstabbers.
Right. It's like when you date a chick and a pussy starts to stink and you got to figure out a way how to get out of it without hurting the feelings. That's what he's trying to do.
You just, I don't know. Is there a way to get out of it without hurting her feelings?
Well, you just you find something. You know what I mean? She lied to you one time to catch you in a lie.
Look that Tommy C-section in the face and say, "Listen, your pussy stinks now. It started out smelling fresh."
Listen, your box smells like low tide. Get the fuck out of here.
It does. It smells like low tide at Jones Beach. Get the fuck out of here right now. Throw it all over it.
It smells like the electricity went out at Nathan's. That's what it smells like.
It smells like a dumpster behind Kathmandu in New York City. Yeah, so it was good. It was fun to talk with you, man. Like I said, we
totally.
had a hockey program, and we were kind of morphed into the same person on our show that we were so lucky to get an hour and a half devoted to us. And so it was cool to touch on this. I'm glad we had you on, man, and telling people to check out Jack's hockey show. Meanwhile, there's more people that probably fucking know you than us. But I'll say it anyway. Check out Jack's hockey show if you haven't seen it on YouTube. It's an awesome show if you're into hockey. And we thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys. It was fun.
What you want to say before you leave, or?
No, just I like what you guys are doing. I like the attitude. I like the accent. I've only been to New York a couple times, and it's pretty much what I remember. Everyone there talking just like you guys. So
we're not putting this on. We had one guy ask us like, "Why do you guys fucking totally accentuate your voices?" And I'm like, "We don't. This is the way we sound."
This is us.
Yep.
We're not hiding anything. We're not trying to be anybody that we're not, But I'll tell you what, we definitely will not let somebody take away our First Amendment right. Absolutely. And we definitely let somebody tell lies without fucking telling the truth. And even if we're talking to 10 people and we're telling these 10 people, hey, this is the truth, then so be it. It's 10 fucking people that hurt us. I really don't care. As long as the truth is out there,
Yeah, I hear you. And the people that know are the people that you care about. You know what I mean?
And you know what? The truth is the truth. And I was told, if you're telling the truth, you ain't got nothing to hide. So, and you seem like you got nothing to hide, like I said. And it just seemed like really like to fucking go that nuts over somebody like wanting to take a step back from you while you're going through all these crazy changes, and not so much saying, hey, fuck you, I'm not friends with you no more, but I'm going to take a back seat and let you do what you got to do and see what it should fall. He couldn't even do that. But like I said, I thought it had a lot more to do with it than it had to do with the talent level and being, all right, I got to separate myself from that before that becomes something big, and I don't,
Yeah, I never did. I never, before all this, never talked shit about him, never did a video about him, never did a live stream, never called him out, nothing.
And I was nothing but loyal to this guy, man.
Yes.
Nothing loyal to this guy. He would tell people, I don't know why Kenny is so relaxed on his show that he does with those guys. And when he comes on mine, it's like so different. Well, yeah, because before the show starts, you're telling me, don't make me blow you up. Don't change subjects. Really only talk when I'm talking. Only talk in the third sentence. Like if somebody speaks 3 times, talk at I'm like, what? What the fuck?
Tell him what he said about the awe comment.
He said to me once, he goes like this to me. He goes, I feel like Kenny's in awe of me. Like,
yeah, right.
Can you imagine the size of the ego you'd have
to
my
gosh.
say that?
Yeah. Like he's looking at the face of Jesus.
He had 1,700 subs where I started with him. I'm in awe of you. Like fucking, I'm not in awe of you right now with 30,000 subs. I'm not in awe of you. Like the guy was crazy just to think that.
It's called having respect for your friend.
Yeah.
Right.
Not interrupting people.
Or who you thought was your friend.
I mean, what they do to Jeff is that fucking terrible, dude. What they did to him on the last couple of shows where they were like, no selling his jokes and fucking just making him look like the biggest asshole. Really, like he kind of sets himself up for it, Jeff, but I'm like, God damn, like I guess he's the whipping boy now over there,
Yeah.
Man.
Poor kid.
Because Jeff could really deliver sporting news. He's kind of like, I think of Jeff as like a 2020 sports flash type of guy. Like, come in for like a good 5 minutes and give me a flurry of sports and just throw it at me. I think Jeff would be fucking awesome doing a segment where he's got 5 minutes of just throwing you news having to do with sports, like a flurry of news, I think that's what he'd be doing best. Not just sitting there and fucking,
chewing gum. That's all he does.
But all right, so anyway, with that said, thanks a lot, Jack. Everybody go check out Jack on YouTube. He's got a great hockey show, man. If you're into hockey and all that, go check him out.
Yep, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it too, man. We'll be in touch with you soon, bro.
All right, take it easy.
All right, man.
The fans all go insane. Someone roars, Bobby scores at the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.